Hey folks, Lester and Jamie here, and we are a dab early. Shocker, shocker. There's been a couple of times where I've had to go live because you weren't here and people were going to start
Uh,
leaving. So I'm
you
like,
decided to go live a couple of times because you're the most.
impatient.
Yeah.
Hold on, are you going to say that I'm impatient?
Yeah, because here we are at 7:54 and you're like 8 o'clock, be ready or not. And I got here at 7:44 and he's like, okay, it's 7:51. Can we go live now? Can we go? Can we go? Can we
It was
go? Can we go?
okay. I'm going to admit something to you. It felt very awkward just sitting here beside you, staring at the computer. It felt so awkward. I don't know why it felt
How does
awkward.
that feel
I
awkward
don't
after
know.
all this time
I
to sit
don't know.
we ride in the car in
Yes.
silence sometimes?
Yes, we do. We take baths together. We lay on the couch. We do everything side by side. And I noticed that I'm sitting here and we're both staring at the computer
And that was awkward
in
for
selfie
you?
mode. And it felt so awkward. I don't know why. I am sorry. I do. I feel quite guilty about that. I don't know why. I can't say why I felt weird there for a minute. So let's just go live. Anyway, we're live. We are officially live. How about this new shirt, y'all? How about this new shirt? I'm wearing a really, feel that,
It's very soft.
Jason and Brooke, Mary Carl over at Cog Hill Farm, they sent me a gift, some shirts in the mail. And I opened those a couple of days ago, and it was just such a spirit lifter. It was really neat to get some shirts, and it felt like Christmas. I said it in my video. It felt like Christmas, and I just had to dance. You know, Jason I think that he got his name to fame. We all have to find our window into social media somehow, right? And I do believe that Jason found his window because he was and is the dancing farmer. There's nobody who can outdance him. There's nobody who has more fun dancing. There's no one with a more contagious smile as that guy when he's out there dancing around his farm. And he and I have been friends for a couple of years now. As a matter of fact, he sent me a video today that came up on his memories from 1 year ago of us having we went through our little dance battle last year.
Yeah,
Remember?
I remember.
It was about this time last year we had our little dance battles. And he kicked my butt every single time. There's no way to compete with Jason. But he's a good friend, a very good man, a God-fearing, good family man. And we are blessed to have him and Brooke as our social media friends and family. We really are.
Yeah.
I had a couple of things to jot down and talk about before we got started.
Hold on, somebody wants to know if this shirt's cotton. I have to be a creep and look.
Hold on, it is the softest cotton you've ever felt.
It's a Bella canvas shirt, and if you know shirts, that's a great shirt.
Listen,
It's 50 poly. Hold on, that's not English. 25 cotton, 25 rayon. So that's that tri-blend fabulousness.
All I'm going to say is there's not a softer shirt that I don't own a softer fitting shirt than the 4 that I just got from Cog Hill. And I don't know what their merchandise runs, but I'll tell you what, I love the shirt. He got my size right. It feels good. Can
I be real with y'all?
Oh,
he hasn't taken them off all weekend. He's just rotating in and out of Cog Hill.
It's form fitting.
And if Jason's watching right now, I just want you to know that just think about you all over Lester's body. That's your name all over Lester's body.
Jamie, you women have something called not spandex. What's that thing that y'all wear sometimes?
Spanx.
Spanx. Oh, Spanx. This shirt is like Spanx for Lester. It's like Lester with his it's like spanks me. It spanks me.
Don't say that.
Huh?
Don't say that.
It feels perfect in all the right places. It fits my body just right. Anyway, I'm not here to promote or push Jason's merchandise. I'm here to say thank you to a good friend for
It could have said I'm a horrible dancer and he'd still be wearing it because of the way it feels for the record.
I would. We want to make sure that we recognize those folks up in Canada that are dealing with wildfires. Jamie and I don't watch the news, y'all. We stopped watching the news a long time ago when we found out that the news was depressing and it put us in a funk. We stopped watching the news. And so
so here's the thing. Is it in Nova Scotia or Canada? I'm asking people watching because I know that it's I know that there's fires in both places, but I don't know where like there's horrific ones.
Please tell me that Nova Scotia is in Canada. Please tell me I'm not just Nova Scotia is a territory of Canada.
I don't know that.
Please tell me that I'm not just.
If you're Nova Scotian, are you Canadian?
Yes, James. Oh, I hope I'm right. I hope when I'm saying
it's in Nova is what they're saying, and it's the same. Thank God. Okay. I was like, wait, I just saw it again and it was wrong. So, okay, it's the same.
Okay,
we're gonna be okay here. You were right.
So whenever I said Canada, people were trying to correct me and say Nova Scotia.
And then I had a moment, I'm like, well, I think it's in both. And then I was like, oh, geography's been a long time since I had to know those things.
Wow, I was kind of worried there that I didn't know something that I thought I should have known, and that would have. Now I cannot name the territories. I can't name all the territories. We play a game called Risk.
Okay, so that's where I was like going back to my Risk days. I'm like, there's Ontario and
Northwest Territory.
There's Quebec.
Quebec, yes. But no, we really do hope that you folks up there who are dealing with that, and guys, that's bad when it affects farms and animals and all that, and it just breaks your heart to hear that news. But our prayers are with you. It has been, Jamie, a very emotional week for a lot of folks. And we were not excluded from that this week. I will say, and I'm going to give you time to talk. I feel like I'm the one rambling on and on, but there's not a person out there. I really don't think there's a person who watches this channel who hasn't lost a beloved pet at some point. And sometimes it's through accidents, sometimes it's through illness, and there's other times when people have had to make the decision to put an animal down. And so this week we did have to make that decision. You all knew it was coming. It wasn't nothing that we threw on you last minute. This has been, I would say, I'm just going to guess and say a couple of months, 3 months, 6 months in the works, not putting her down, but watching a slow demise.
6 months of extreme care, like hands-on, really involved care. Yeah, about 6 months.
And so we appreciate the show of support. I have, is it called an affliction? Not an addiction. It's an affliction, right? Is when I can't help but read the comments. Is that?
I think so.
And so sometimes that's not always a healthy thing. And I really do. I draw a lot of much needed therapy from sweet, positive, kind remarks and comments. Even if you don't agree, there's such a tactful and classy way to disagree with somebody instead of just bashing. And I want to say thank you. I don't say thank you enough to folks. I want to say thank you for loving me and Jamie with all of our flaws. I say that quite a bit, all of our flaws and faults. But it's been a tough week, and especially a tough weekend for us. And I want to say thank you to everybody who lent their support in the comments and the emails and the messages and the WhatsApp, which is something that's WhatsApp. It has exclamation points behind it, so you have to show some emotion. It's called WhatsApp. Just move on. Your turn. I will stop talking and you will talk.
I can't. How do I go from whatever the heck just happened with your face and your mouth right there to just saying.
The funny thing is, half the folks on here have no idea what WhatsApp even is. They have no idea.
Stop it.
Okay.
People are gonna be like, God, she sure cried the video, but she's sure laughing right now. What's wrong with her?
Isn't that a beautiful thing in itself, though? I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I want you to talk about it, but I will say that when the vet and the vet tech, Dr. Cochran and Savannah, is that who came with them? Mm-hmm. Savannah, when they left, it wasn't long before you and I were, the relief, the.
I talked a little bit about it in my video that I made while we were at the beach of like, I actually felt guilty. I felt relief, and then I instantly felt guilty for it. And the relief was like, almost instantaneous. And I felt horrible. I still feel horrible for admitting that, but I felt this sadness for so long, and this, oh, you just unplug the ice machine?
Remind me to plug it back in.
Okay. When you're in it, and people who have cared for, whether it's animals or human beings, and you're in this just right front and center, and you've had to put yourself through making this decision and trusting your own judgment at that point in time, and being a voice for something that can't sign their own paperwork or make that decision for themselves. I feel like I grieved during that process. And then after it happened, I actually was, talking to Dr. Cochran. She's giving us instructions, and I made a joke because Beverly came up and she did cry. She did all those things, but then she went right back to eating, and I made a joke, and I was like, well, don't mind if I do, like, just like that. And it was minutes after this happened, and I instantly, when I said it, Dr. Cochran giggled, and so did I. But then I felt guilty that I just made this joke about something. And I realized, Lester goes, that's the first time that you've laughed and smiled in weeks. And he goes, you're feeling relief right now. And I felt guilty for feeling relief. And when I said that in my video, a lot of people related to it, because a lot of people had been under similar stress or even worse stress than me. And really, it was about just, being at peace. And then, of course, the emotions definitely came back. Like, don't get me wrong, I had to go have my moment alone too, but my instant feeling of, like, I felt like I could breathe for the first time. And it was powerful. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how everybody else's emotions would be, because dang it, I'm not going to cry. Dr. Cochran admitted to me later that she's like, Dixie was a special horse even to me. And she goes, and I'm just her vet. Savannah actually came on her day off whenever we made the call. She said, well, Thursdays are my day off. She goes, I would still like to come if that's okay. That meant a lot to us, to know that the people that have been caring for our animals were invested in it emotionally as well. There's just
Dr. Cochran, if you don't mind me jumping in, Dr. Cochran actually helped Jami and I make a decision that we had to make as well. And yes, I'm going to let you talk about it, because I kind of have my videos have been all over the place. I will say that my emotions reflect themselves in my videos. Okay. And there can be ups and downs. And I think that anyone that watches my channel knows that I can be you don't know what you're going to get from this guy on any given day. And a lot of that is based on things that's going on inside of me, inside of my head. And I apologize for that. But
I look to Dr. Cochran for a lot of advice, not just on Dixie, but I trust her with animals. I trust her with nutrition. She has a wealth of knowledge. And what I love about her the most is, if she doesn't know, she's going to go ask the questions as well. She had told us, about everything that was going to happen before it happened. And in those conversations, she said, what are your plans for her afterwards? Because number one, Dixie's not a dog you can pick up in your arms and carry somewhere. So wherever this happened had to be relative to what we were doing next. And as morbid as that sounds, she was right. You have to think about what you plan to do afterwards. And there are options of cremation or bury, or even there are companies that you can take bodies into to have cremated, or believe it or not, you can even have an animal composted now. However, the way that Dixie died with assistance, Dr. Cochran quickly informed us that she was injecting a lethal drug into her. First, a sedative drug to sedate her, similar to whenever they get their teeth worked on. And then the next is a lethal injection that makes their heart stop. And that medication is toxic to all wildlife and to all animals. And if we were to bury Dixie and anything would have dug her up, this sounds so creepy and morbid. But
well,
if anything,
it happens. People that don't know farm life knows that there's really only three options when you lose an animal, a large animal. I'm going to say probably 90% of your large animals are simply hooked onto your tractor. And this is said, I'm not trying to say, but they're given back to nature. The farmer will drag them far enough away from the house, away from, where they, and let Mother Nature reclaim them and let them go to nourish the scavengers and all of that. And knowing that Dixie had a lethal dose of this, that was off the table immediately. That was a definite no.
It would kill anything that.
Not just any of our dogs are we could have kept our dogs away, but other animals in wildlife, so that was a absolutely no. That's not going to happen, which only left us with the one of the other two options.
Right. So if we buried Dixie, we had to think about
had to be a 9-foot hole
and a big wide hole with 9 foot deep, and then the potential of anything digging her up. And that's something I, number one, would never want to live through. But the fear of any of our animals potentially ingesting some of that lethal medication was too much. So that was like number one top reason that what was happening could harm the rest of the animals. And that was just not an option.
And then with, our soil, everyone knows that Longhorn Leicesters is known for these gully washouts.
Yeah.
And that was a horrible fear to know that we could rent a machine and bury her. And then first heavy rain, all of that wash out. And then we expose her to
resurfacing again. And that sounds so awful, but we really did have to think about all of the things. So we decided to cremate Dixie because it was the safest way. And to be honest, it's what I want to happen to me.
And me. And I will be cremated. No service. Just burn me. I'm good.
So it was the safest way, but it allows me to keep her ashes. And it also was a way for us to not disrupt our pastures and potentially, like, this sounds really worse. It could have contaminated the water. It could have contaminated what the animals eat in the future because it would seep into the ground. Like, there's so many things. And I'm just thankful because did not have my mind made up before things happened. And when Dr. Cochran told me that, it was the final.
Dr. Cochran, we actually asked for Dr. Cochran because she's very candid and she's straightforward. She's young. She's a young doctor. I think she's probably only 28 or so.
Probably.
But I'll tell you what, she has a wealth of knowledge and her expertise is horses.
Yeah.
And so we also love Dr. Priestley. We've had some really good vets, but Dr. Priestley is really good with the smaller animals. Dr. Cochran knows her way left and right around horses. And we
use them each as necessary. And if one's not available, the other one will step in. But they'll ask each other for advice. And I think that makes them a really great team to be able to handle all pieces. But I also knew that Dr. Cochran had treated Dixie up to this point, and I had been messaging back and forth with her for, the last year, really. Yeah.
So we knew, guys, we know you, and we knew that this was going to be hard on a lot of you. But ultimately, it really had to be a decision that we made in-house. I'm sorry. I walked through a cobweb just before the live started. I ran out to get me a drink, and I walked right through a cobweb.
Now there's a fly flying.
And now there's a fly. Now the cobweb should help me a little bit. Hopefully, I can catch them. But there's still cobweb brushing me in the face. I feel the tickle. I don't know. I can't find it. Now there's a fly flying around. It's just that kind of a day. But what I was saying.
So people just said, so the toxicity goes away. So the toxicity, no one can ingest that, and it's being done in a dirt pile. We will scoop up all of the dirt and all of the ashes afterwards, and dispose of that through another process. Not dispose of it like dumping in another dirt pile here. Like there's a process.
Yeah, that will be buried.
Yeah, that has to be done in containment and all kinds of things like that. But certain heat levels do make it not toxic anymore either. So
yeah,
we're following all the steps. I've done all the research, but it was just a decision that was on the fence until really, Dr. Cochran said, I want you to know this, and that was it for us.
Anyway, the good news is all of that is done, and so it's not. There's a way to go about it the right way, and we did everything the right way. If anyone was able to watch our process, I think that you would be proud with the way we handled it. We have really great support around here with Mr. David and Mr. Kenny, both of which who came by to help feed fires and bring pallets, wooden pallets, and tractor stuff and whatever we needed. We had plenty of help. And so we're just so very blessed, and Dixie is in a much better place. And I will say also that I kind of feel this way, and this is very personal, and this may be going on kind of my own belief system, but I don't believe that Dixie's, I think that all that we cremated was her diseased body. I don't think that her spirit I think it's long gone, already doing what spirits do. And I don't believe for a minute that Dixie's sitting there concerned about how we went about that. But she's free now, and she's free. And now our attention has all turned towards sweet Beverly. And boy, what an adventure this is going to be.
I want to say one more thing about
Dixie. Yes, please.
So a lot of people cut horses' tails, and I wasn't going to do that. I felt like, number one, if I did it before anything happened, that she would know. I know she knew, but at the same time, like, I don't want to strip her of her. And when I'm telling Dr. Cochran that, she goes, that's fine, but I want you to know there's a saying that all the good horses in heaven are running around without tails.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was funny, but not funny.
I was like, that's it. Like, give me the scissors, because I can't let my horse go to heaven with a long tail.
No, that's
she's a great horse.
All good horses in heaven have short tails because people cut their tail, and they make things out of that hair. And we were really excited that we've gotten some of you guys send us some really neat websites where they actually can take some of the horse's mane or the horse's tail and make beautiful jewelry, things you can wear out of that. And so I got those sites, and I'll send them over to Jami. And so we're going to find something neat to do with Dixie's hair. But we made sure we gave her the haircut after, because like Jami said, Dixie was like, hey, that's my long, pretty tail. You ain't. She was sassy up till the end, y'all. She was sassy up till the end.
She got annoyed at me, bro. I spent so much time with her that morning that she actually got annoyed at me just brushing and loving on her. I felt like she was like, let's do this. Like, I'm ready. I've said my goodbyes. Like, we're just dawdling right now. And it was powerful, and it was peaceful.
Well, I think that maybe in our lifetimes, we've all been around someone who was at the end of their days, and they're like, don't come around here all that crying bullshit. Don't come around here all that crying bullshit, or whatever. And that was Dixie. She was like, don't come in here all that crying bullshit.
She was and also don't come without food.
She was excited when Miss Pat showed up. Miss Pat and Mr. David, our neighbors, showed up. Miss Pat wanted to love on her. And of course, Miss Pat wanted to bring all her favorite snacks. So Pat and David showed up with all of their little baggies. She carries little baggies and all her little treats. And Dixie, even though she didn't have much of an appetite, she walked up and she ate every snack that Miss Pat had to offer. And we gave Miss Pat some time to love on her. And Mr. David and Miss Pat enjoyed some time with her and Beverly both. And it was just a beautiful moment. Dixie was so at ease and so at peace, even though she knew.
Here's something crazy that I don't even know if you caught. before that moment, so I had a lead rope and a halter on her, or a rope halter on her. She wouldn't move anywhere else. Like I had wanted to move her out of the way of the gate. Before Dr. Cochran ever showed up, like I was trying to just keep her occupied with, something to do. She wouldn't move. But whenever Dr. Cochran got there, she actually walked on her own to the spot, and it was wild and like we didn't talk about it. We didn't say anything like that. She just went, and it was just like so crazy to think that she knew those things, like she knew. And I don't know, there were so many moments that led up to it. The moment with her and Voodoo, I'm not gonna cry.
It's okay.
That was like the most incredible thing that I ever could have witnessed, and I still can't believe I caught it on video. But it was just like,
I think the most powerful moment to me was after Dixie had already closed her eyes and she was gone. And you sit down there beside her, and you were, I guess, saying your final goodbyes. And of course, Beverly walked up. And Beverly, and we had guys, you had to allow Beverly to know.
Yeah.
There's some things that you have to allow. And as hard as it was to watch, you have to allow that so that they can also process what's happening and what's happened. And once Beverly realized that Dixie wasn't just laying there, and that Dixie wasn't just rolling around in the dirt, because at first Beverly thought it was a game, and she began to roll around the way horses and donkeys will roll in the sand. Beverly thought Dixie was rolling. And once Beverly got up from rolling, it was like, how come you're not getting up? And began to get more concerned. And once she walked up and she circled her a couple of times and she smelled her and she realized that she was gone, Beverly let out the most heartbreaking, I don't know what you want to call it. It was a cry. It was a very heartbreaking. Yeah. And that was a powerful moment. I'm so happy you captured that on your video. But yeah, Maggie was my support animal. Maggie was the one that was with me after the hurricane, before I met Jami. She was the one that was, by my side through all of the things that I dealt with and had to overcome in a really tough time. And I love the fact that Dixie was Jami's support animal, the one that she had a lot of deep conversations with and long talks. But it's hard. It's hard to lose any of your babies, but it's harder to lose, certain ones. And so Dixie, there's no replacing a Dixie. There's no replacing a Maggie. We can have other dogs and we'll have other horses. And I'm sure in the course of our lifetimes, we'll love a lot of babies and we'll see, but there was something special about her.
There was. So something that people don't know, because I haven't shared the video, is Saturday night was like the worst night for Dixie at all. Like I had already been talking to Dr. Cochran.
This is last Saturday.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And that was a night where I was outside at like midnight, 1 o'clock-ish. And she laid down, and for horse animal people, that laying down from a horse's standpoint is generally not good. And she laid down and was on her side, and it's, it was 1 a.m., 12:30, 1 a.m. It wasn't hot, so it wasn't from that. And Beverly was standing over her, and I'm holding her head, and I swear to you that she took her last breath and didn't breathe for over a minute. And I'm holding her head, and I'm telling her it's okay, and there's a video camera that's on because I can't believe what I'm seeing. And all of a sudden, Beverly bites Dixie in the behind.
Yes, and brought her back to life.
Made her gasp for air and get up. And I'm not kidding. And I have it on video, and I've watched it 20 times because I walked in after it all happened, and I told Lester,
woke me up and told me it's like 1 a.m. I'm all calm, like dead.
I'm like, I can't believe what just happened outside. Watch this and tell me this is not what I'm seeing. He goes, no, that was definitely what you saw.
Dixie died, and Beverly brought her back from the dead
by biting her in the butt.
A bite in the ass. Like, get up. You ain't ready to go yet. Get up. And she did. She walked. And she got
did.
up.
And it was the most crazy thing. I sent that to Dr. Cochran. I was like, okay, so yes, it's definitely time, but what the hell did I just watch? And
Beverly is amazing. Dixie was tired. I think that anyone that watches the videos, you could see, y'all. I think that you could see probably before we could see. Sometimes it's hard. We have on, we wear these love goggles, and we sometimes can't see things that other people can see. And it was remarkable when we finally, when we finally had the appointment to have her put down, how many people knew. You knew, because you could see things that we couldn't see.
I'll be honest, I was in
denial.
That her
time had come. Yeah, we were in denial. We were trying to hold on, like everyone does. There's nothing.
I think you get like love goggles because you're so far in it, and your mind is trained for so long to look for the silver tiny little win of the day that it's really hard to take a step back and look at big picture of a decline. And it was hard. It was probably later than if we were an outsider, I think, looking at it.
Keep talking.
Okay. I messaged Dr. Cochran the previous week and said things are not good. I'm starting to notice it go really fast, and I'm gonna need you to come out here, and I want to show you what's going on. And I still had hope at that point in time, but I think, like, looking back deep down, I knew. And the closer that we got to that day was more and more evident as I really would replay videos of, I started spending so much time because I'm watching how bad that she felt, and really just she started to tell me, like legit tell me. And I think like the biggest indicator was what made me call Dr. Cochran was that Dixie was in the Wacky Pack shack and Beverly was out in the woods, and they had never separated like that on their own before. She had never stayed behind. And I just have to say that, for everybody that has had to make this decision before, I applaud you, because this is the hardest decision that I've ever had to make in my life. And I thought about it, and I overthought about it, and I overthought about it, and I said it out loud to myself more than a million times, and I second guessed myself with Lester, and probably drove him insane about the 50 ways to think about it. And I guess that's where Dr. Cochran comes in, for being so professional and being able to say to me.
I think a good doctor does that. If they're a really good doctor, they have to tell you honestly what to expect, what's going to happen. And so that was our first time having a large animal put down.
Yes.
And Dr. Cochran was so professional in how she handled it, yet she was a friend during, if that sounds weird, it's true. She was a friend and a professional all at the same time. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Were you looking for somebody to ban there? Is that what
so I'm just going to address it. I'm not going to worry about it because we have other things going on. We're doing good. This is probably one of our most important lives that we've done in a long time. And I will just tell the kind lady that keeps asking me to shut up and let you talk.
Oh, I've been talking like crazy.
That Jami is capable of shutting me up whenever she wants to. So kindly excuse yourself from the live, or remember that when you're in my kitchen, you eat my cooking, as my grandma would always say. You're in Lester's kitchen, you eat Lester's cooking. But Jami is a capable woman, and you don't need to project your demons onto her. Can I just stop right there?
Yep, you should stop.
So if you have okay,
Where you want to go from here?
Well, no, we don't. So that's been my downfall. I let someone steal my joy and steal my light, and I'm trying to work on that. Um, and that's hard. It's harder. It's easier said than done. All the folks will just ban her, just block her, just don't address it. You're feeding. Don't you kind of think that people that come onto a page and say things that are mean, angry, or hurtful, don't you think that they have a purpose in that? Or do you think that they really are clueless and they don't understand what they're saying? I think.
Do you know the term "get your goat"?
Get your goat? Yeah.
I think it's that. I think it's they get joy out of provoking others. And here's the thing. If you ran into them at Walmart, they would never say that in person.
No, never.
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 So for them, there's something in their life that has made them feel like less in real life. So they come to pages like ours, or I don't know, certainly not Cog Hill. Nobody's mean at Cog Hill. But they go to places where they can use it as an outlet and then move on to the next thing. Because I guarantee you that same person, if they're banned today, are going to send an email tomorrow that says, I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it. There's so many beautiful people here who support us, who have love Dixie, who I think love you and I, and
they tolerate me. They tolerate me. They love you.
And want to be able
I'm like the package deal. They tolerate me, but they love you, and that's complete. True. Hey, I'll take what I can get. I guess I'll take what I can get. Okay.
But I think that if you were in a crowded room of 1,000 people and one person is the we'll just call it your student that's in the back screaming or doing backflips off the table or flipping you the bird from the back of the room, if you let that one person ruin it for the other 1,000 people, then then they have won. And there's always going to be that person in the back of the room who,
hey, isn't there a quote, misery loves misery, or something like that?
Hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. Yeah, lady, I'm letting Jami talk. I'm actually encouraging Jami to talk. Yeah. I feel like this live more than ever.
And I didn't know if I wanted to talk. I'll be honest with you. Like, I told Lester, I'm like, I'm not sure that I'm ready to like be face to face, even though I'm staring at my own face and Lester's face right now. We couldn't do that in silence, by the way. We had to do it in the live here.
Don't make us talk private.
I wasn't sure that I was ready to come on and talk.
Misery loves company.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure that I was like, I started to make videos yesterday and the day before, and I just, there's like a definite change and an emptiness that I feel.
Hold on. Let me tell about the emptiness and the change.
Go ahead.
She doesn't know what to do with herself. She doesn't know what to do with herself over here.
Hold on, I'm going to show them what I did today. Hold
on. She is lost without Dixie.
This is what I did today.
Oh, that ain't all. Hold on. That ain't all she did. Don't make me, Jami. Can I stop now? Jami is like nuts. And there's guys, we have baskets after baskets after baskets of fruits and veggies.
I planted grass today and raked all of the dirt around it by hand. What else did I planted like 6 trees.
I saw you raking. She had me having to help her hang up baskets and hanging thingamajiggies off.
I got my hands
greenhouse.
In the dirt. This is how hard I worked. Okay. This is
that looks horrible. I wouldn't show that on you.
But there's like an emptiness and like this is so crazy. My mind even has time right now, which is bizarre because I had put so much into medicine time and what she was doing, and then
brushing, watering her down.
And
My
snacks
gosh.
at certain time to keep
Fly
blood
sprays.
sugar and fly spray. And then what do we have to be able to do the next piece? And then if it got worse, this, temperatures and all the things like. So it wasn't just the do, it was the mental about to be prepared and the thinking and the worst case. And well,
it was around 2:00. She goes, I want to go into town. I'm going to go to Lowe's. You want to go? I'm like, no.
And I did too.
No.
I went to Lowe's and grocery shopping today.
And I did not want to go because I did not want to get stuck in working with grabbing plants and all that mess all day. So she took off without me.
And you know what? Every single plant is
and then
in
she
the
came
ground.
Home, she had come in and planted them. They're not sitting in the planters. She came home and dug holes and planted it. And wow, I'm like, wow. Sheesh, wow, girl.
But I've always found that stressful times and emotional times for me, I have to like work through it. And when I say work through it, like, yes, here, but physically, like doing things brings me peace and like helps me mentally process everything. So I did. I turned some music on and got lost in that. I cried a few times. I clearly broke a few nails. But it was what I needed to do. So I know that I'll be spending a lot of time with Dixie and Voodoo and Bucky's and Dixie. I just said it. Beverly and Ivy. I know I can't stop saying Dixie either. Like it just falls out of my mouth. Like earlier I was like, did you feed Dixie and Beverly? And he was like, it's just part of it. And I think Beverly's missing the beer times though. Beer 30 was a big fun event for Beverly and she is missing that. So we might have to have a beer with Beverly every once in a while for the record.
So there's a couple of questions that keep asking about Beverly, and I made my first video about it, and I believe that you got one in the works.
It's coming out tomorrow.
But we did do a lot of changing around. We got all of the birds back out in the big pasture, all of them, even Carl. And Beverly is doing great. Beverly and Voodoo spent a couple of days. Well, Jami was very proactive in getting Voodoo and Beverly and Dixie some time together. And
I didn't want Bev to be a stranger to the herd, and I wanted Voodoo to obviously be accepting and understand the situation, which he did, which is so crazy to watch.
I was going to say, I don't think that may have been one of the most amazing animal things I've ever witnessed was how, let me tell you something real fast. I don't have time to show something, do I? Can you talk for 3 minutes while I build something and show something?
3 whole minutes?
3 minutes. I need you to talk for 3 minutes. I want to show you all something. Talk for a minute.
When Lester says talk, that's usually when I can't think of anything to talk about at all.
Read some comments.
But no, we had brought Voodoo over to their pasture and brought them both over to his pasture, to the big pasture. You know, it doesn't belong to Voodoo. I have to keep reminding myself of that as well. But we had done a lot of forethought into the aftermath, and that sort of provoked a lot of what happened this weekend and went through that. So I feel like we set ourselves up for success in that realm, and it's gone well. All right, I'm going to read comments now because I can't stop thinking about what the heck he's possibly doing in building. So I'm going to just read a few comments. Somebody says, how's your greenhouse coming along? I worked on it this weekend. That was part of my Lowe's adventure today. So there'll be videos coming about that. What plants did I buy today? I had to buy a few things to go into some hanging baskets. I bought 2 papaya trees. I know. I'm going to have the coolest fruit orchard ever. And I planted my second avocado tree my second lime tree and my second pomegranate tree. So I have 2 of each for pollination, which is awesome. I have way more room for trees, which I'm really excited about, but it's not tree time right now. And how are the chickens? The chickens are doing great. Megan has found a new love of chickens, so she's got some exciting things that she's going to be showing soon. Oh boy, I see what you're going to show.
You can finish talking about Megan if you want to.
I'm not going to tell her secret yet.
You're not going to tell her secret yet?
No.
I'm trying to get you and me. Let me back up a little bit. If you guys don't mind, I want to take you back to a very special moment.
This was a profound moment.
That's a great word. I want you to all look at Bucky's eyes. I want you to look at Bucky's demeanor. Bucky's is our Palomino. He's the light-colored horse with the greenish-colored halter on. And I want you to look at his demeanor. Now, this is after they had not seen Dixie for 6 months. They had not seen Dixie for a while. And this is their first time seeing Dixie. And you all can look at Dixie right here, and you can already see in her eyes, in her face, that she's not well. And this picture is so powerful to me, because don't you think for a minute that when Bucky saw her, he didn't realize that she's sick. He saw her and he couldn't look at her because it saddened him to see her that way. And I know that you can see what I'm looking at. And he never reached out to do what Voodoo. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, baby.
It's okay.
He never reached out to do what Voodoo was doing. Voodoo, I think, this is a lot like humans. This was a very human characteristic. It's when you haven't seen somebody in a long time, and when you finally see them, you had no idea they were in such bad shape. Can I just say bad shape? You had no idea they were in bad shape, and you didn't know what to say. You didn't know what to say. You're like, you were even uncomfortable because you didn't have words. And we captured this moment, and Bucky's did not know what to say. Now, Voodoo, are you okay?
Yeah.
Want me to take it down?
No.
Voodoo, on the other hand, was trying to be the kind of guy who maybe did not know what to say, but he had to say something. He had to say something. He had to say something. I don't know what people say.
I think that he just said hello. I think that his hello was heartfelt, and that's why he reached out to touch her as well. It wasn't just his love here and a couple days ago was just amazing.
I'm going to get to that picture. I have it on here. But this picture right here, it was a video that we took a screenshot out of, but it didn't matter how long that video went on. This is what we saw: a lot of Dixie welcoming the boys.
Excited.
She was so excited. Now, she'd been feeling bad. She had been feeling bad weeks leading up to this day. And we brought the fellas over, and I remember she came running. She found the strength to run through those woods to meet them. And her and Voodoo sit there and made contact and smelled and loved on each other for a minute. Beverly's like, "What the hell y'all doing here?" Or whatever. You see Beverly's little ears.
Yes.
And now this was that one particular day. But later on in these last few days, Voodoo wanted to spend time. He began to separate himself from Bucky's and from Ivy,
which was crazy, because we'd never seen that before, to where he stepped away and had an interest in Dixie, not in like a partner, like section, nothing like that. Like Voodoo's a gelding. He doesn't feel any of those feelings, but he wanted to be near Dixie.
He needed to be near her, and she needed a companion. And there were a lot of people, including my friend Rick Gore, who talked about the significance of when horses especially I forgot the word that he used, but not manicured, but
Grooming.
they groomed each other. There's something, and if you're a horse person and you know horses, then you know that this is a very unusual behavior. And what he did for her and tried to groom her, and what she did back. And this what guys, this went on for days and days and days. And while this was going on, Beverly was kind of like, I guess, watching. And I think that just they're so intuitive to know that this is going to happen. And it breaks my heart to know that here we are as humans and we don't give animals as much credit as we need to, because we sit here and we witness such powerful emotions and just amazing moments.
Voodoo legitimately had a tear in his eye after this, and I captured one in his eye after this, and I captured one in Beverly's eye when she cried over Dixie.
But Beverly watched this for a couple of days. We let Voodoo over every day to hang out with Dixie, and there was a lot of grooming. And I think that there was, I equivalent it to human beings when maybe you start having those conversations with your loved ones about, hey, I'm done. I'm on my way out. Make sure you do this, and please make sure you do this and try to do this. And I think that Dixie had all of those conversations with Voodoo, and Voodoo, who is a very strong influence with the horses. He spent the night with, we left him with Beverly the night after Dixie had passed in a pasture with Beverly and a bunch of goats. He hated it.
Oh, you're so
he
mad.
hated it. He's like, I don't need this. I know what I'm going to do. And so the next morning, first thing, we allowed Voodoo and Beverly to walk back over to the big pasture. And I kid you not one, not Bucky's and not Ivy, neither one had a word to say against the fact that Beverly's coming over.
Nope.
And how crazy is it that a week earlier we saw Beverly having all kinds of riffraff with Ivy, but Voodoo is such a strong and powerful presence that in his own way, he said, let her be. She's been through enough. Now I'm going to get emotional. She's been through enough. Y'all leave her alone. You know, she's one of us now.
Voodoo's, they're all special, but Voodoo is super special as well. People say he's a medicine hat paint, which is in the
Native Americans, the medicine hat.
Yeah, so the Native Americans say that he has special powers, and I don't know if I believe all of their beliefs, but I believe it for Voodoo. I'll just say that. I don't know if it, let me rephrase that. I don't know if I believe that for every single horse that looks like Voodoo, but I can tell you that Voodoo is special. Voodoo, the way that he treated Dixie was incredible, because in prior times, in previous years, the way that Voodoo treated Dixie was like a little sister or an older sister. And the way that Voodoo treated Dixie in her time of need was love.
It was like a little sister.
Yeah.
And you know what? You might can pick on your little sister
exactly
when times are good, but ain't no one else going to pick on her. And that's the way it's been with Beverly.
Yes.
So Beverly, if you have not seen it yet, in our future and upcoming videos, you will see a whole lot of Beverly out with the bigs. Beverly is in fact a horse / pony now officially. And she has fitted right in, and Voodoo has helped her adjust. So you do not, I give you my word, you do not have to worry about sweet Beverly. She's in great hands.
She's holding her own. She's been welcomed into Dixieland. They're all sleeping in Dixieland at night, and Dixieland is the other horse stall.
The loafing shed.
Loafing shed. And they're all fitting in there. They look like their little toy horse and donkeys that you put in there with their little heads all sticking out in line. They all have their, specific spot. It's really cute. And I know that she's going to do really well.
She will do well. So we're very blessed that everything transpired the way it did, with having Voodoo come over and take that role, and to set the record, set everybody straight out in the other pasture that you're going to leave her alone. She's been through enough.
Yeah.
And today was a beautiful day. I actually made a video of me going out and catching Beverly and Ivy, our two donkey ponies, in the barn together during the heat of the day. And I brushed them both with a big old push broom, which was all I had handy, and they both loved it. And so we're giving them a lot of attention. We'll give them a whole lot of extra attention. And as far as Jami goes, I says, hey, you know what? Get out of that garden and go out there. Now you got 4 horses. As far as Voodoo, Bucky's, Ivy, and Beverly, who can all use some of that same TLC that you gave Dixie all this time. So don't feel like you can't find something to do with your time, because there's other animals that will certainly take it.
Oh, I know. I had plenty to do with my time. It just was it was such a switch and like a realization of how invested that I was. Even going to the store today, I normally would have walked out to spray her first, then refilled and scrubbed her water, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, because when she chewed, some stuff would fall back in the water. And I never, I just want, like, I really, really, really focused on every single possible thing for her. And going to the store today without doing any of that, like just looking out to count heads and make sure everybody was okay and waters were full, was like a split second versus the 30 to 45 minute thing that I would have to do previously. So
yeah, I know everything goes so fast.
It's weird. It's so weird. Even feed up tonight was like so different. And well, it's gonna become the norm. It is the norm. So
yeah. There's people that are asking in the comments about, do you have any plans for future horses? I'll let you answer that, because Jami is more of the horse person than I am.
We're at a time right now where I feel like we need to give Beverly time to be integrated fully with the herd. And we're also going into summer. Last year we experienced a drought, and believe it or not, our pastures are still recovering from that drought. And we don't know what this summer holds as far as rain goes, but have to be prepared for it. So taking on anything new right now doesn't feel right for many reasons. I'm nowhere near emotionally ready to bring anything else in right now. In fact, I told Lester, like, I'm so thankful that Megan and Ellie have taken such a big role at the sanctuary, because I don't know how we would have got through last week without them. I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave at all for anything. And I was up every hour throughout the night, and just, there's just no way on earth that I could have gone to handle anything else. And I'm just so grateful that the timing had been right for that, so that they could handle I'm a Survivor and those animals. And
I'll add to that if I can, and just say that Jami and I, we went over to I'm a Survivor yesterday, and we were both very pleasantly surprised, because it had been 3 days. We hadn't been there in 3 days. And so it's funny, because we've been going like every 3 days. If you notice the pattern, we've kind of been going every 3 days because of Dixie and all. And so when we got over there, I was kind of had my feelings hurt that none of the animals ran up to the fence to see me, which tells me they're all getting the TLC, the time, and the attention that they need. No one's hungry. The chickens are not all running up. The guineas are like squawking in my face. Everyone is just like going about their normal business. Ellie and Megan have the dogs out for a walk. And I'll tell you what, that decision to let Ellie and Megan help out at I'm a Survivor and be the full-time groundskeepers over there has really benefited us. It's given us so much time here, and we're very blessed for that. Megan is remarkable. I said that in my video. She's just really remarkable. Megan is Ellie's Jami. I will say that right now. Megan is Ellie's Jami. And she has passions in some things that Ellie probably is annoyed by, like chickens. Megan has a chicken thing. I don't get that for the life of me. I don't know if Ellie gets that or not, but Ellie is Le is very supportive of Megan, and whatever Megan wants, he'll try to accommodate. And Megan has a chicken affliction. I'm going to call it an affliction. It's probably the wrong word choice, but I see it as a problem.
It's not a problem.
It is a problem because Megan over there has 50 gosh darn chickens, and now she wants more.
But you know what? She cares for them all very well.
She does care for them, and she cleans up after them. And so Ellie and Megan seem very happy and content. I appreciate the love and support that you guys are also showing to the animals at I'm a Survivor. Ringo is still being as hard-headed as always. But even my Longhorns, now Ellie, Megan, Ben, they're feeding the Longhorns every day, and they're spending time with them. But yesterday was the first day that I showed up, and I saw them, and I called them, and they didn't come running. They did not come a running. And I'm like, what's going on here? And Megan's like, I already fed them. And I'm like, Megan's out feeding my Longhorns. Those are my Longhorns. That's what I do. I go to I'm a Survivor to hang out with my Longhorns. So I ended up having to love on Ringo and Pig Trudy, which is never a problem. But no, I really, I think that we're luckier than what we realized to have full time, not swing by and help out, right. Not swing by and feed up real fast, but full time Megan, and then of course Le to take care of I'm a Survivor, and they're doing a hell of a job. It's funny because Jami and I revert back to my old teaching days. Are you seeing something funny?
I saw something weird. Okay, I thought for a second, I was like, damn, I didn't drink anything.
I had a full drink.
I didn't drink anything. Nothing.
I thought, okay, maybe I overdid
water, and I just saw two of us, and it flashed before our eyes, and I was like,
maybe, let me turn my phone back off. Maybe something going on over here. What I was going to say is that I try to treat Le the way what we would do with teachers when you give them a glow and a grow. You don't want to just go in and just cut them apart, but you give them some positives and maybe something negative and help them grow a little bit and get better. And I says, Le, I'll be honest. I says, today I get over here after 3 days of not being around. I says, all the waters look just crystal clear. All the animals have been loved on. No one's screaming and hollering for food. They're all out grazing across the pastures. They look healthy and happy. I said the barn was super clean. Megan had gone by and just power sprayed and cleaned all the barn. And I says, the only thing, there's only one thing that you could work on a little bit, and it would be that when you mow, you have to use more of a pattern. Because Le, I'm sorry, I have a weird not a kink. I have a weird hang up. When I mow, I want my grass to look like Wrigley Field. I want to see rows and columns of cut grass, and it's kind of a weird thing. And I've always been that way. And Le didn't keep the same pattern that I kept.
Le created a NASCAR Magic 8.
Mode, done.
And we're like, you missed a spot for 5.
But I know, but ultimately I said, you know what? I'm having to actually look around for things to say, work on this or work on that. He's done tractor work.
I do have one funny thing, and it comes out tomorrow in my video.
Oh, no.
At the sanctuary.
Really? Is it about Le?
It's about, yeah. I might have been locked out of something.
Oh, no. I bet I know what it was. I bet I know. I can't wait to see that video. Well, listen, we're going to let you guys go, but I want to say this real fast. Our videos for the next couple of days are going to be so jacked up, out of order.
We have some.
You're going to see videos that are still going to have Dixie in them.
Yeah.
Just know that when we create videos, sometimes we're not like the kids. We don't do what the kids do and go out and video and post it the exact same day, the exact same hour. No editing. Just go out there, make a video and stick it on the internet. We don't do that. We are kind of people, which means you are the kind of folks who still appreciate a long quality video And so we do a video a day. So you guys already know this about us. But that means that there's certain days that we have videos accumulated in our phones to build and upload. And unfortunately, when we lost Dixie, we have videos that still have her in them. And so you're going to see videos this week.
Both of us do have. I mean, I have videos that I had already recorded before that, and sometimes when the world stops,
some things take precedent over others. And this was a moment that we wanted to share with you all. We wanted you to be a part of the process with us. We wanted you to be a part of all of the steps that we had to go in with the vet. And
a lot of people had said that it provided them closure too.
I know. I knew that. I knew that from personal experience. You have to have closure, or else you can never really wrap your mind around it. And as hard as it is to see it or to hear it or to talk about it, and you're like, I deal with enough sadness in my life already. I don't need to come here and see more sadness. That's your opinion. But I know that for a lot of folks who have come to love Dixie, and isn't it crazy, Jami, how you take a horse that people have never met, and yet she began to find a way, this special horse, to reach people around the world who fell in love with her and were so invested in her journey until the end. And then not even till the end, but now extended past the end. Like now they want to know, how about her sidekick Beverly? What'll happen with this? What'll happen with that?
I think that she left an incredible legacy, and
we couldn't be more blessed for the kind of folks who follow our channel. There's a lot of channels out there that will just throw anything at you, trying to get you to watch them just for long enough for an ad to make a few dollars. But man, when we can get you guys to feel what we feel and love what we love.
I think that it's important to know, like, the experiences that I had with Dixie or with any of our animals, with Journey, you, with Patty, and with Maggie, that we have always said that the things that we experience, we would be experiencing even if we didn't share on video. But to share them on video with people who either had that experience at some point in time in life and this brings back memories, or maybe hasn't ever had the opportunity to experience that in real life, this is our way of paying what we feel is a blessing to us and paying it forward through videos and being able to share their stories and their struggles and their heartaches and their accomplishments and just share them in general. You know, one of the things I said in my video was thank you for walking with me and Dixie, because my walks with Dixie were very personal, and she brought those things out of me. And I don't know if I ever would have been comfortable without her to share some of the things that I've shared with y'all. But I also know that sharing those things has been a way for other people to acknowledge some of their, you know, things they've had to overcome in adversity, and to not feel so alone in those things. And I think that that's just an incredible piece of all of these animals and the way that you actually have taught me to share our experiences.
Well, I can kind of piggyback off of that and say it's not easy. You know, the guilt that consumed me with, let's just take Lola and Petunia, for example. Lola and Petunia. And I will say that I was negligent in the fact that I did not clean up after the kids. I'm not going to blame the kids for what happened. They went into the box, our pool box, to grab the pool noodles they were going to wrestle on the trampoline. And in their attempt to grab the pool noodles, they pulled out the little capsules of the chlorine tabs that go to our pool, and they left them laying there. And if overnight our sweet beloved Lola and Petunia didn't come by there and just chomp away at them like pigs do, and that's ugly. That's ugly. That is so ugly. And it's but I feel like as many people that are upset with me, don't think that I'm not even 10 times more upset with myself. But we don't sugarcoat things, Jamie. And I take a lot of pride in that. We're unapologetically, well, we apologize for being idiots because we do such idiot things sometimes, but we're humans and our animals are animals. And I think it says a lot about our page and our channel and our character as people to know that we're going to make mistakes and we're not going to always do things the way that you might do them, but we do love these animals with everything that we got to love them with, and we're going to do our best, and our best sometimes is not good enough, but man, no, so we're going to continue to be who we are, and show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it takes a special kind of person who can understand that and respect it, because a lot of folks, I said this in a video, with my famous Jack Nicholson impersonation. You can't handle the truth, because a lot of folks can't handle the truth. They can't. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to see the bad and the ugly. They only want to see the happy family farm where everything is so lovable, and they can all get a good laugh and a feel good moment and hear some sweet music. And
well, sadly, this isn't the Hallmark Channel, and there is no script. And it is real life, and it has ups and downs, and somehow I feel like that we try to find and show the way to get back up after the downs. And I think that we get a lot of that from the people who are part of our Facebook and YouTube, friends and family, is really through some of their comments and messages about their experiences, and vice versa for us to be able to, say and show what's going on. I read somewhere that, your story might be somebody's roadmap to survive something, and I firmly believe that, and I believe that in everybody's life, that your story could be somebody's how-to. And I think it's just important to share. And I tell people that all the time, that, you can't be embarrassed about the things that happened to you, or that the mistakes that you've made. It's better to own them, and, to take your lesson.
It's a whole lot more, as much turmoil as you can sometimes read in the comments. It is easier just to own up to the mistakes that you made, because like I said, I think that our pages are always divided into threes. All of our people they belong to one of the three groups. They either live the same lifestyle that we live, and so nothing surprises them. They have seen the same things that we've seen. They've made the same mistakes that we've made, and so they enjoy knowing that other folks live very similar lifestyles and make the same mistakes. Group number two are folks that used to live this lifestyle. They're the ones that said, yep, I remember when my dad did that, or I remember when we did that. Yeah. I remember, they may have moved on or moved away from the farm and country living, but they still remember the way it was, and they're very accepting. Both of those first two groups are very accepting. It's the third group that sometimes give us a little bit of a hard time, because they're folks that would like to have this lifestyle, and you aspire to do this kind of stuff, but maybe you don't quite know yet that it's not always pretty. And the pages out there that make it look so easy and so pretty, and it's just a big old petting zoo, and you come in every day and you feed animals by hand, and then you love them, and then you all go home. It ain't like that, y'all. It ain't like that at all. It is so much work, and it is so much pain. And when you see them and they're unhealthy, and when you see them and they need something that you don't know what they need, they can't tell you, you can't figure it out, and you spend sleepless nights, and the occasion you don't have to put one down, or then those that pass on you unexpectedly, the love that you have, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and the hurt, and then always second guessing yourself. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, and been doing it my whole life, and I wouldn't know what to do without it. I'm blessed to have you doing it with me now, and I hope that I haven't let you down in all of this. It's been good that you've been able to lean on me this week. It's been hard. It's been hard, and I need a lot more of these now. Some weeks, but you know what? I've leaned on you just as much in other times, and so that's what makes it beautiful. It's just a story. This is a chapter of our story, and we're so blessed that there's so many folks who are invested and are equally a part of this journey of ours.
I thought you were going to say shit show.
I could say that, but I don't think it's all a shit show. I think there's some really beautiful things that happen around here.
I will say that you took me to Galveston on Friday afternoon.
You needed it. And I didn't.
And all of our
look at my skin color, though. Isn't that beautiful?
All of our recent experiences have led to a shit show. And I sort of kept waiting for it to happen, but also just didn't want to think about it and was just like living it. And we had an entire afternoon of no
shit show free.
No shit. It was a shit show free day, and it was beautiful. And I thanked you for it like 27 times at least by now. And
all I went for was the beer. When you said they're having Coors Light, that's when I decided to go ahead and shake my head and go. Now, I took the drone and I got some really neat drone footage. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the restaurant that we ate at. That was a beautiful experience. I enjoyed the ferry ride, riding the ferry. We don't get to ride the ferry a whole lot here. Folks in other parts of the country can do the ferry all the time.
I had never done it before.
Yeah, putting the car into the ferry was kind of scary, but going across Galveston Bay was fun. Seeing you get out and be able to kind of enjoy the ocean.
I ugly cried. I ugly cried at that ocean, but it was good.
Yeah, we had a relaxing day, and we can come back and do all the chores. So it got dirty at the end.
We had a relaxing couple hours. Let's rephrase that.
Yeah. But we're blessed, y'all. We're so very blessed, and the biggest blessing of all is to have folks who will love and support you, even when you're not at your best. And I will say that there are some videos that I've made this week, and even last week. Last week, I was ranting about how mean people were about me saying Happy Memorial Day. God forbid I said Happy Memorial Day, and people got on my ass about that. And I'm like, sheesh, I actually acknowledged the holiday. I actually acknowledged as fallen soldiers. And it was crazy. That was in this week. People were on me about the cremation, and I was like, wow. But a lot of folks are supportive and loving and understand that we're not doing it with malintent. We're trying our best, and we're just normal people trying our best. And we appreciate you guys for loving and supporting us, despite our many flaws. There, I've said it again, because we got a lot of them, a whole lot of them. I read off my entire list. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we cut this thing off?
No, I thank you so much for all of the kind words and messages, and just being a part of our lives, and like I said, for walking with Dixie and I.
I can't read. I don't have my glasses, but we can pop a couple of comments.
We've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes.
Jamie, how do we leave? How do you just leave so fast?
No, take your comments now. We're done here.
Jamie says we're not reading comments because I can't read what I'm popping up anyway. So,
y'all, seriously, thank you a million times for being a part of our life and for accepting us through the flaws and our trials and tribulations and just all of our figure it out moments. We're so blessed to have you, and are just so grateful to
and thank you for giving us the greatest gift of all, which is your time. You know where I got that one from?
Some really smart woman.
A really smart woman.
Y'all have a really lovely evening and a blessed week, and I'll see y'all Tuesday afternoon.
Remember, our videos will all be out of order. I'm going to tell you right now, our videos are so out of order. There's no order to anything this week. We'll be putting up videos, but they are so out of order, Jamie. We will get back on track next week, maybe by Wednesday. I don't know about you. I think by Wednesday, I'll be back on track. Wednesday or Thursday.
I have no idea.
Hey, if you're watching this live right now.
Oh my God, Texas, goodbye.
Just remember to remind people that Lester said they're going to be out of order. Nothing's going to make any sense this week. Enjoy the video for what it's worth and don't be too harsh on us. All right, I will cut this thing off. Bye, guys.
Good night, y'all.
We love you very much and we appreciate you. Oh, and by the way, I'm kidding.